All right, guys. Tom Davidson here with Landon Hutchinson on yard work, and we've got Quentin from Primetime Baseball here in Indianapolis, where we're at, and he's just up the road and trying to keep everybody active. What's going on with you guys?
We're kind of in the same boat as everybody. It's a lot of behind the scenes work right now. Obviously, we can't do a lot of baseball activity, but we're pushing stuff out through our social media. We're pushing stuff out through our communication with our parents. We've sent out videos and things, and for guys to do at home. But right now, it's the waiting game, kind of like everybody else.
Yeah, I know you guys have one of the more impressive indoor facilities over there for sure. How are these guys kind of acclimating to that and getting their work done outside of the facility?
Yeah, it's been first off, it's been a blessing to have that facility. Finch Creek, owner Andy Card, Clips Card, management, and it's been a blessing to have it. Obviously, it hurts even more when times like this because you can't go there. But our boys are we want them to mimic what we preach and the things that we talk about. And we talk about handling adversity and just making the best of of a bad situation at times. And so our guys are definitely itching at the chomping at the bit in a sense, but uh, they're really ready to get back. And hopefully this can all blow over soon and we can get back on the field. But I know they're working hard. I know they're getting after it, studying baseball and doing things like that to prepare for hopefully our season.
Yeah, I know we've been talking about we had one of the Fieldhouse Pirates from Canada on here, and
Yeah,
talking about how different it is for them compared to all of us here, where we have this big fear right now that our seniors in high school are going to miss their senior year of baseball, and
yeah,
perhaps how that makes our summer season even more important as that last chance memory with the guys and all that kind of stuff. Where in Canada, the baseball season starts in the summer, and we're trying to figure out how we gear up things if nobody's really playing until June 1 for summer events. How we gear these guys up, especially the pitchers, to be safe those first couple of weeks as we get into it, where they haven't had that time to 3 or 4 months for their high school season to get arms ready and all that stuff.
yeah. That's always a tough thing, and that's why I know we've set deadlines and things like that. But guys that are in baseball know the reality of things that you just said. Having time for pitchers to come back. Guys are just getting ramped up, with their high school seasons, and then it gets cut down, and they don't even get to the start of the practice date, and so it's a lot of things. Some teams didn't even start throwing pins yet. I had players that hadn't thrown pins yet, for their high school team. So getting geared back up, being able to see live APs, being able to get outdoors and all, it's a difference, and it's going to take some time. I think the baseball community understands that. I think college coaches will understand that. It'll help some guys. It'll unfortunately hurt some guys. That's the realization of it, and hopefully it helps more than hurts. With that understanding of we can look at skill development, we can look at talent, and it doesn't maybe have to be as results oriented, early, which I know by the time you hit the summer after playing a full high school season, there is no excuse. There is no what ifs and all that. If you didn't play, if you didn't get the reps and you're not prepared for the summer, then you're just not prepared for the summer. But this is an unprecedented situation that we've never seen, we've never been a part of. And I think, the community, the baseball world, guys that are in it for the right reasons and understand what's going on, they'll look at it the right way and hopefully abide by the rules and just continue to press on some of these kids and understand that a lot of people are in the same boat, and parents as well have to understand the pressure that this puts on colleges. They're trying to have a recruiting class. They've promised guys to come in, of this coming year. Well, if they get extra year eligibility with a senior, in college right now, how does that affect these? So it's not only the players looking for a school, but it's the players that have a school already that it can affect greatly, whether they start or have playing time as a freshman versus they're having to now wait maybe to their junior year potentially, to play. So it's a lot of dynamics, man. And I think everybody's got to roll with the punches and really understand, kind of what we're dealing with and kind of understand that and work together, for the betterment of the players.
Yeah, have you had the opportunity to talk with some of your guys as seniors on that to see, does this change your mind if you're going to this school or that school? Does it open the door for, a JC route, or, have you guys had that chance to maybe discuss and think about that?
Yeah, I've definitely talked with some of my players. We this past year, our 17s, we have almost around 9 guys that are committed right now, and I've talked to every single one of them almost, about what's going through their head with this. And I think for the most part, my guys will be okay. Um, but that's just my one little program. There's tons of kids out there that are in a different position that I've talked to that aren't in prime time, but I've talked to through training and whatnot that it will directly affect. And it's one of those things I just try to. I know how I would have felt. My senior year of college, I had a guy for 3 years, great coach, Billy Gurnon. He's at Western Michigan right now. He left my senior year. That was the guy I wanted to graduate with, and he left. So it was a tough transition. Now I got to still play baseball, but I talked to him about the adversity that, going into your senior year, it's a special thing. You want it to go great. So when something like this hits where, nobody can control, this isn't just the West Coast is playing and we're watching them play and we're in the Midwest suffering. Everybody's doing this, everybody's going through it. So, it's going to be a unique class. As they get through 10 years from now, they'll remember, this year as being something that, probably nobody will ever have to experience again. Hopefully not.
Yeah, for sure.
I had a quick question. So your guys' facility that you guys got basically all the bells and whistles. You've got, all the tech, you've got all that stuff. Now that those, kids don't have that, have you seen or heard of any interesting methods of them, finding ways to throw and whatnot that you'd like to share?
Yeah. I've had players, they're building their own plyo walls, building their own little tees and things like that. We have guys that, multiple players that are in their garages training, doing a lot of simple stuff. I send out a lot of communication and email with our team personally, and share information of how to train and things like that. And one big thing we talk about is being great at the little stuff now. You don't have the tech, you don't have and I'm a tech guy, but I'm a great blend of old school as well. You don't need 50 different gadgets to get better. You need, a bat, a broomstick, a floor, a space, and a balled up cut ball. I mean, if you're really into it that much, so it's a bunch of ways you can get better. It's nice having the tech, but when it gets taken away, it really shows what guys are, understanding of what they're doing versus reliant on, something in the tech world. I'm a huge advocate of tech, but once again, my guys know I preach dry reps. I preach getting in the mirror. I preach, being your forearms getting strong, or working on your stance and your rhythm. Nothing has to do with swinging a bat. Nothing has to do with taking ground balls. Working on little things like that. And once again, there's so much information out in social media and Twitter and Instagram and all that. I mean, you can find your pick of the litter of things to do, but, we try to go just a simple approach. And while you're at home, do push-ups, do sit-ups, get your arms strong, throw into, a wall if you can, use a tennis ball, little things like that, but try to keep them active so that, parents aren't going crazy.
Yeah, far fewer excuses now than probably when we were playing.
Yeah.
I know when I played, even like, in high school ball, I mean, how many times did you cheat yourself when you were doing conditioning? And now you're looking at this going, hey, you guys, you better get on top of it right now. I remember when I was a freshman, we did like, I think it came out to like 60 push-ups. I had no chance. I weighed like 125 pounds, had no chance to get through that. And, by the time you get sophomore, junior, senior year, you've got that. But, there's so much information out there that, there's far fewer excuses that you can make up now as to why you're not preparing yourself. I would like to know how many of these guys are stuck throwing with moms, and how many moms are out there catching balls right now for their kids.
Oh yeah. There's probably a lot of people involved. There's probably a lot of walls damaged and things are probably getting broke, but that's part of the process, I say.
Yeah. I mean, how much does this change like your recruiting process? I know you guys kind of put something together for your older guys that are still getting recruited or unsigned. How's this change maybe the direction you give some of those guys?
Well, it's kind of changed it. I mean, obviously, a big route that gets overlooked still to this day. I think we've even had people speak about it, and it still gets overlooked because I've had players in the past year tell me this. The JUCO route is not a bad route, man. I don't get what the stigma. I know what it was when I played, back in 05, 04, the stigma of what a JUCO was. I've had a player tell me that's not where smart players go, right, Coach? And they have no freaking idea that, I went to IPFW. We were good teams, but there were some JUCOs that would have beat us, hands down. We were a D1 school. Like, JUCO ball is baseball. It's a stepping stone for, I usually call 3 different types of players. A player that is a draftee right now, doesn't really want to go to school, but he needs to get that year, gets a year in, boom, he goes, he can get drafted immediately. It's that kid that, is a tweener, doesn't really get the looks maybe that he should have got, wants to go D1 eventually, but not quite there. And then boom, or that guy that just blossomed late and that's what we had a lot of. We had a lot of guys that shot up from 5'11" to 6'3" in their senior year, and it was amazing, but they didn't have a lot of guys on them, knowing how the recruiting process is now, and they still had aspirations of going D1 or doing this. And so, the JUCO route was, and obviously with bad grades on top of that as well, which is the reality. But the JUCO route is a special route. I have a lot of ties to the JUCO route, and that's the biggest, piece that I would say to any kid. If you're nervous about your spot at this D1, a JUCO route for 1 year and getting out, and you might go higher. You never know, because it's respected. The college coaches that are getting these JUCO guys, it's respected because they understand what type of players are coming through there.
Yeah, I mean, we had huge scout days when I played at Parkland, and I remember our scout day there, and it was, I mean, we had more Division I schools there than I even realized were around, when I was playing. So I think it's a great route. Landon?
Yeah, so I coach at the Division II route. I coach at UND. So, honestly, this year especially, our pitching staff could have, been upwards of, or could have competed with, Division I schools.
Absolutely.
Not your SECs, not your ACCs. Those guys, they're just deep, right? But it doesn't matter. I mean, you've seen there's some D1 schools that lost to some NAIAs D3s this year. And baseball's baseball. Any game, anyone can win. Anyone could throw a perfect game. Anyone could, have one error that could cost them anything. So as long as they're playing, and they, the thing that we tell every recruit that we recruit, or anyone that was to ask, Pastime, hey, like, where's a good school for me? Those kind of things. It's, you need to pick what one you love. It doesn't matter if it's D1, if it's NAI, it doesn't matter. If you're getting an education, the one that you really want to go to, that's what you need to do. And then you need to go somewhere that that the coaches are going to, treat you right, do exactly what, teach you what you need to do. And if you do your things, you're going to play. It doesn't matter what level you are. And, I went to an NAI school. That's where I went to Rio Grande in Southern Ohio. And it's like an old farm school. I mean, we didn't have anything. I mean, but we were ready. And if we made it to the championship, no one wanted to play us. And we won the championship when I was there. So, we didn't have the best talent, but we knew how to win and we knew how to play baseball. So
absolutely,
that's what really matters.
Yes, sir. That's right.
Hey, when we finally get this thing going and we're playing, what kind of direction do you guys have for the summer? What if we're able to play? Let's say we don't play till June 1, and I think that might be the most realistic start time for a lot of people. I know some groups and states are still trying to figure out if they're going to do a spring season. I'm not overly optimistic about it. I'd love to play in late May and stuff like that. But if let's say we start June 1, what kind of transition time frame are you looking for your guys? 1, to keep arms safe, and then 2, get these guys in baseball shape. I mean, I know right now I can't go home to third in I don't know, 30 seconds right now.
Yeah, honestly, we don't know. I mean, we're kind of rolling with the masses. I'm always an advocate of being able to fit it in if you can, and doing what you can. My biggest thing is the safety of the players and making sure. So whether that means shortening, tournaments and doing mass double headers within a tournament company, whether that's, meeting up at certain areas and playing just an all-day schedule where it's a double header here and then a double, and it's a single elimination. I don't care. To get the feel of tournaments, I think the big thing is making sure, once again, summer ball is a piece of a high school player's life that matters. And so when it matters, you'll go out there and do anything for it. And I think as long as people are taking the precaution of, like you said, making sure arms are ready, making sure guys are back, and we hold strict pitch limits, I don't know, inning limits, whatever. I think within a month's time, if you're playing consistently, especially if you're able to maybe play during the week, you can get back to where you left off in a sense. It's not going to be as crisp because, once again, summer ball, how we view it, it's after 2 months of high school baseball and playing a lot of games before you even hit June. So that's a big piece for me. I'm open for anything though, that involves playing.
That's our discussion right now, and what we've touched on a few times is, how we change what we're doing on the tournament side. And if we say, hey, we're going June 1, from our standpoint, and what we've looked at is you got June 4 to 7 and June 11 to 14, where we've got these events that include bracket play.
Yeah.
And whether or not it's smart for us to say, hey, it's a 4-game guarantee, we're going to play 4 games, and maybe they transition from 7 innings to 8 innings, and we say, hey, pitchers, do your pitchers, let's set them up 3 innings here this week, and then maybe max out at 4 innings next week, and really kind of help teams and players transition, because you're still going to have that bulldog guy that's like, no man, I'm good, I've been working out, I can throw 6 or 7 innings. And for us, it's it's always pitchers. I'm a position player, an outfielder. I'm not worried about me.
Right.
The guy on the bump, I'm worried about him, and we always hear about more arm injuries and those kind of things, but that's what we're discussing here, is trying to figure out how we help that transition if everybody's spring seasons just cut off like that.
Yeah, I mean that's a tough decision, simply because how nuts people are going to be once we're at go and everybody can start playing again. There's unfortunately coaches in the world that are going to say we're going to play 8 games in a week. There's unfortunately some coaches that feel like none of it's relevant, and there's no middle ground. And so it's a looking at what pleases the masses the most. I think as speaking from Primetime and how our guys are, we're ready to play. And because we understand how to transition our players the right way. As long as everybody can be on that mindset, and even the bulldog that says I'm good to go, he understands this dude needs a shot as well. And what's the purpose of us doing this? Are we trophy hunting, or are we trying to get prepared so that we can trophy hunt in the last half of the summer as we get going? So I think it's just the mindset of everybody understanding where we're at, how we can transition into this properly, keep the kids safe, and then still compete. Baseball's baseball. It doesn't matter what the set lineup is. If you have a pitching rotation, that's what I feel like a lot of coaches should and do as well. So it's one of those things where, as long as people are on the right page and coaches are really out for the right reasons, I think it can transition as early as June 1st, no problem.
Yeah. What do you think, Lando?
I think it's the main thing we've talked about in other discussions that we've had with other coaches is just monitoring the workload and understanding that having the education piece to those coaches, because a lot of coaches just don't really know or understand what that even means. They think hey, my guy can practice 1 time a week and he'll throw a 30 pitch pen, and then the next week he won't pick up a baseball the entire week, and then he'll go the next weekend and be like, all right, he can throw 45 or 60, no big deal. Or this kid's first start at 7 innings, 100 pitches, I'm not going to throw him again until next week. But if the kid doesn't pick up a baseball, if he doesn't recover right, if he doesn't do the little things in between, the recovery piece is 90% of pitching. It's the whole that 10% is the one that they want to see the results. Well, you got to do the other work to get ready for it. So we've been trying to really put out some pieces here and there with educating just all levels, understanding the importance of that workload piece. So hopefully that reaches the masses.
Absolutely. Yep, I agree.
So we're going to see you guys quite a bit. I know we see you guys a lot during the summer, just because I mean, we're local. We've got, whether it's Butler and UND or Notre Dame or Louisville, things like that. What do your guys usually look forward to the most? Which of those events are they really geared up towards nationals just because of that big event? We don't make, awards a big deal. So the trophy hunters usually leave unimpressed from our events because they're getting a t-shirt unless it's nationals. But what are your guys looking forward to on those?
Yeah, we love the national the championships. We've been to multiple, outside of even Indiana. Our top 14U teams going to the one in Louisville this year. They were beyond stoked about that, and they're a good bunch of players. So it's going to be a good experience for them. We've done that, for my 15, 16, 17U teams every single year. I think the competition's always legit. I love playing players and teams from outside of Indianapolis bubble.
Yeah.
It's such a good thing being able to do that because it promotes baseball being bigger than metropolitan Indianapolis, Hamilton County, Marion County, whatever the case may be. So the national championship, those are our favorite. We make sure we're in those, as many times as we can.
Yeah, I know those college venues are those high perk pieces when you get a Louisville or a Vanderbilt or Michigan, those guys that are getting to, the College World Series now. So yeah, when we make those pools, it's that's one thing. I make all those schedules and the pools for those. And it's important when I do those that I basically run through every coach on there and 317, 317, 765. I look at those area codes to try to make sure, I've got one Indiana team, I've got one Ohio, one Michigan, one Tennessee.
Yeah.
Because I think even as when I played, that was the coolest thing. You get to go play a team from Tennessee or New Jersey or something like that in those nationals. I mean, that's just, and it's really just another team, but it's the fact that, they're outside your area. You may never see them again. That was always kind of the highlight of that tournament experience and doing that when I played for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I remember, we went to a Pastime tournament in Kansas City when I was coaching in Fort Wayne with the now the Diamondbacks, but the Cubs at the time. And we're playing a team, and I'm writing out the lineup, and I look and I'm writing the other team's lineup, and I wrote Clemens, number 22, hitting first. And I look over, and it's freaking Roger Clemens in the sun. So that experience there was monster, and that's where it's a big plus. When you have the separation of these teams and states and whatnot, it's money because you never know who you're going to run into, and you get to see, once again, my thing is the players that think that they're good, they can see other players that are actually really good. You think you're working hard in the weight room, that's what a guy in the weight room looks like. You think you got a strong arm, that's a guy right there. And it's not anybody that you can gauge off of because you don't know. So it's a big plus to see, that type of talent.
Yeah, we had one of those when we were at Oklahoma State, 2007 or 8. I get all the registrations I'm going through, and there's one that's like joecarter@gmail.com, and I don't really think anything of it. I go down. I'm at Oklahoma State and doing T-shirts and baseballs, and I go down to the field for the coin toss, and I literally look up, and I was like, oh, it is Joe Carter. He's out there coaching a team from that area, and I was like, there's no way. I'm in way over my head now.
That's awesome there. That's awesome, yeah.
It definitely promotes too, like the why factor. Like, why am I not getting that D1 look? Why? Well, then you look at this kid over there and you're like, okay, that kid, he's D1, or he's a pro guy, or, whatever. There's always those questions, even, as my side too, it's like, we're trying to get guys to the next level too. That next level is, signing a pro contract, so we always ask, scouts, what are you looking for? Which that changes, month to month, honestly, but, at that time it's like, what's those intangibles you're looking for? What's the numbers, like the spin rates, the bat speed, anything that they want. And that way we can take it back to our guys and, help them out too and kind of narrow that gap. But, honestly, just like getting that realization of, hey, I thought I was a D1 guy, but maybe I'm, I got a long way to go. I got to get that work in. So that way I can get, to where I want to go, whatever level it is, but it just kind of levels up.
So true.
I think 2000 or 2001, I graduated high school in 2001 from Lawrence Central. And I think when we were juniors, we had Steve Lowry was on our team. He went to Arkansas. And then a bunch of us were, JUCO guys. So we all went that JUCO route, but we got to go play. We all wanted to play Division I baseball, but we got to go play Midland at Midland for a doubleheader. And we've got our number one guy on the mound, and we just got crushed. I'm like, he's going to Arkansas. We're going to be fine. And those guys, I mean, when you see a real D1 guy, like we all knew our guy was good, but when you got 13 of them out there on the field, and every pitcher that came through, and we were juniors, we were seeing Garrett Berger from Carmel that was 94, 95, and Corey Wade and those guys. But I mean, these kids were. That's when I realized I was like, yeah, D1, that's a different level. I mean, it's a different level guy. And even our guy that went and played, he was like, look, I'm working out twice as long as everybody that's there. You're going down south, and these guys are just that good without even trying it sometimes. And I have to work twice as hard. And it's just, the work ethic that they had was, it was impressive.
Oh yeah, and it's usually unmatched. That's why those guys are successful, and a lot of us, it fizzled out. That's why I'm not the pro guy talking to you. I'm the guy that used to play. That's a lot of us, man. You got to be blessed with talent, but when you have that talent, making the most of it, making it really come out, and that's what I want our guys to understand. Why can't you be that guy that stands out? Be that guy where a team from Illinois comes in and says, geez, I remember that dude right there. That catcher was a monster. That dude hit a tank off of us, or whatever. He shoved against us. Those are the things that you remember, and it's important to know. And it humbles you down. That's my biggest thing. There's so much fluff in the world now. And once again, social media to me is a huge issue with that. I can post a video to get a bunch of likes, but you got a terrible swing really. That doesn't really play in the game. So it's things like that where it all comes full circle, man. That's what baseball does. It humbles you down and makes you know who you are and what you're not as well, and how you can work to get better. So it's always somebody out there that's a little bit bigger, stronger, faster. If you're really about the work, it's going to be a lot of it, but it will pay off in the end, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think right now is a huge opportunity for a lot of these guys to do the work that nobody really likes to do, except for those guys that are very clearly better. And when I was a junior in high school, I hit like 280, and then I was an all-state kid as a senior and hit 480. And that off season, I did tee work, I did all kinds of stuff. I worked, when I worked out my lower half twice as much as my upper half. But I think right now is a great chance for a lot of these guys to really push above, other guys that are, probably TikToking and hanging out right now, and that's it.
Yes, that's what we've talked to our guys about specifically. This is that time to get the edge. If you were really close to this kid that you knew, or a player or whatever, get the edge right now, because it's so much easier to sit down and watch Netflix and do nothing. Scroll on Twitter, say I'm taking mental notes of hitting. That's you can do that, but actually getting up and applying it, that's where, we're hoping our guys continue to work, and which I believe they will. And, they'll hopefully get that edge on, whatever they're looking for in the recruiting process, especially.
Yeah. Well, before you're in one of these spots, Landon and I keep talking about, these hot spots for baseball, whether there's a million teams in Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Chicago. Why are some of our guys going to Primetime as opposed to, one of the other programs that, is right around us, maybe working out at the same facility, things like that? What's your guy that you're going out to find to bring in?
Yeah, honestly, I'm going to say it very generally, then explain, but I want true baseball guys. And what that means is players that you don't have to push or coerce to get better. You don't have to baby them. You have to instruct them. You have to guide them. They want the instruction. They want the guidance. The skill development, yes, I feel like that's the general answer, because everybody should be in it about skill development. If you're here just for a check or anything like that, then you're in it for the wrong reasons. And so that should come with the program as is. But on top of the fundamentals, I want to show that we're a program that can develop and push you to be a college player. first set, we talk to our high school guys all the time. You're working for a college position, but right now your number one goal, we're trying to get you better just so you can be a varsity starter. And if you can be a varsity starter, then you can, rise yourself up the ranks. And as you're rising yourself up the ranks, now that comes with college. And so, being able to understand what a process is. We talk about process in everything we do. In a world of instant results, baseball's not that. It's a process, and how you're pushing yourself and developing. It doesn't need to be an early commit as a freshman. We have plenty of players that committed going into their senior year. We have plenty of players that have committed in their senior year. So it's one of those things where, as long as you're doing the right thing, baseball will benefit you and pay off. And that's all we preach, is being able to bring you into an organization that isn't as well known sometimes as, a Bulls or whatever organization. But I guarantee you we develop just as well. We push guys just as well. We have the connections just as well. We can sell these players just like whoever. And it's everybody's in the same boat when it comes, to baseball right now. And if you're a player, we're going to handle that talent with care and develop it and, give you the insight that comes with college and even professional baseball, through our connections. And so it's one of those things where if you're really about baseball, Primetime's a great spot for you. We're a great organization that really, really sells our product and our player. And we have, to say it kind of selfishly, we have a great facility, to be able to work out of and have our players and even our softball teams develop the right way. So it's something that we don't take lightly. This is not a play thing for us. I'm in it for the right reasons because, I got kind of mixed in of what the recruiting process was when I was in high school. And so, I have a real big passion for being able to push guys into the right position, give parents the best understanding that they possibly can to make a decision that's going to, in a sense, affect the next, 20 years of their life after they, get out of the college ranks. And so it's an important thing, but baseball's the best factor to be able to get them, to the spot that they want. And, Primetime's all about that. We preach that and we believe in that.
Awesome. Well, Quentin, thanks for jumping on with us. Appreciate you. We'll see you guys soon. And I know I'll talk to you before the summer starts as long as we can get through all this stuff and get these guys on the field. I think everybody will be happy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're looking forward to it. Appreciate it.
Man. We'll see you.